The screen lit up with my mother's text message like a slap across my face: "Don't come to the wedding. You and your kids just make things awkward." I stood frozen in the pharmacy line, prescription clutched in my hand, as my sister Kayla's laughing emoji appeared beneath Mom's words. My fingers tightened around the bottle, knuckles whitening until I thought the plastic might crack. Behind me, people shifted impatiently, but I couldn't move. The floor seemed to tilt beneath my feet while blood rushed in my ears. The pharmacist called next, twice before I realized he meant me. Somehow, I managed to slide my credit card across the counter, the same card that held thousands in wedding expenses for the celebration I was now banned from attending. As if on autopilot, I typed back, "Then you won't need my card for the venue." The words appeared in the group chat, hanging there between laughing emojis and cruel memes. They had no idea I was already holding the one thing they couldn't afford to lose. My name is Olivia, I'm 35 and a pharmaceutical company accountant. This is the story of how I stopped funding my own exclusion. I'd always been the responsible one, the steady one, the one with the good job that somehow translated to being everyone's emergency fund. My mother, Beth, had perfected financial manipulation into an art form, and I was her masterpiece, trained since 16 to provide, fix, and never complain. When my sisters Kayla and Rachel needed student loan cosigners, I was there. When my stepdad Nicholas lost work, I covered everything from utilities to my mother's salon appointments. The repayments never materialized, but the requests never stopped. Love in our family came with invoices attached. Between spreadsheets at work and managing life as a single mother to 2 children, exhaustion had become my constant companion. Yet somehow, I'd found time to help Kayla plan her wedding, a lakeside venue with a glass reception hall, perfectly Instagram-worthy and absurdly expensive. Every deposit bore my signature. Every invoice came to my inbox. Every planning meeting filled my calendar. There had been warning signs, tiny fractures in the facade I'd been too desperate to notice. The way Kayla dismissed my financial concerns with a patronizing, "You're so good with money, you can handle it." The way Mom changed the subject whenever I mentioned shared costs. The way they discussed details without me, then expected my credit card to materialize. $3,000 for the deposit. $1,200 for catering consultations. $600 for floral samples. My credit card balance grew while my savings shrank. I'd taken the venue tour alone because Kayla was too stressed, chosen linens because Mom was too busy, all while telling myself this was temporary, that family sticks together. I drove home in a daze, the prescription bottle still clutched in my hand. Standing in my kitchen that night, I stared at the muted group chat still lighting up my phone. My mother's casual cruelty shouldn't have surprised me, yet somehow, it felt like discovering a stranger had been living in my home all these years. Someone I thought I knew had just revealed their true face. I scrolled through my camera roll, past dozens of wedding venue photos I'd taken for Kayla. In each one, my reflection was barely visible in glass doors and windows, a ghost documenting someone else's dream. I thought about the prescription I'd just paid for, medication my daughter needed that insurance only partially covered. I'd budgeted carefully to afford it, while simultaneously spending thousands on a wedding I was now uninvited from. My stepdad Nicholas called later that evening, his voice low and careful. "I saw the messages, Olivia. You don't deserve that. Not after everything you've done." I could hear the guilt in his hesitation, caught between loyalty and uncomfortable truth. Nicholas had been added to the group chat months ago when we started planning the wedding. I assured him I was fine, though neither of us believed it. After hanging up, I opened my laptop and pulled up the venue contract. There it was in bold type: primary contact, Olivia Moore. I traced the letters with my fingertip, feeling something shift inside me, not just anger, but clarity. For years, I'd been treated like an ATM disguised as a daughter. The screen's blue light illuminated my quiet apartment, my sleeping children down the hall, the only people who truly needed me. My cursor hovered over an email draft to the venue coordinator I'd started weeks earlier. I remembered her friendly voice: "You can reach out anytime if you need to make changes." With steady fingers, I typed, "Can I cancel the booking if needed?" and hit send before I could reconsider. The coordinator's response arrived by morning: "Yes, since you're the primary on file." I read it twice, feeling my pulse settle into something calmer, steadier than it had been in days. They thought I'd stay quiet, keep paying, keep apologizing. They never imagined the table they'd excluded me from was about to disappear entirely. I waited 2 days. Long enough for more memes about drama queens to flood the group chat. Long enough for Kayla to post her countdown, 12 days until forever. Then I called Melissa, the venue coordinator who'd worked with me for months. "Hi, Olivia. Are we confirming final payment today?" She asked brightly. "Actually," I replied, my voice surprisingly steady, "I need to cancel the event." A brief silence, then, "Understood. Since the contract is under your name, I'll process the cancellation right now." Just like that, months of planning vanished in seconds. I sat in the stillness afterward, feeling something unexpected, not guilt but relief. The clean, quiet sensation of putting down a weight I'd carried so long I'd forgotten it wasn't part of me. That afternoon, I called my college friends Marie and Danielle, who'd eloped during the pandemic without celebration. "The venue is suddenly available," I told them. "It's yours if you want it." My treat. Silence, then soft crying through the speaker. "Are you serious?" Marie whispered. "Completely serious," I answered, smiling for the first time in days. They didn't know they were saving me too, giving that day a purpose beyond pain. By evening, the group chat had gone silent. I knew why. The payment had bounced. The cancellation notice had arrived. I imagined the panic spreading through my family, Kayla refreshing her email, Mom pacing her living room, Rachel typing in all caps. I leaned against my kitchen counter, sipping water, and waited. Not out of cruelty but curiosity. How long before they realized the only person who'd ever kept things together was gone? The calls began by morning, frantic, demanding messages stacking up on my phone. "Why did the venue say our booking's gone?" "Olivia, call me back right now." "What did you do?" I let them ring through to voicemail, letting them feel the silence they'd created for me all these years. By noon, Nicholas called. "They are losing it," he said quietly. "Kayla's crying. Your mom's yelling. Rachel's trying to find someone to blame." He paused. I told them this would happen. "I'm sorry, kiddo. You deserved better." I didn't cry. I just said, "Thank you for seeing it." That night, my mother called my landline, a number she hadn't used in years but had kept on file for emergencies. When I answered, she skipped greetings. "How could you do this to your sister? You sabotaged her wedding." Her voice shook with fury. I waited until she paused for breath. Was I even invited anymore? Silence, then backpedaling. "You took that message the wrong way. We were joking. Kayla gets stressed. She didn't mean it." "You all thought it was funny enough to post memes," I replied, my voice calm. "Don't make this worse," she hissed. "Just fix it." I hung up. No drama, no shouting, just disconnection. The next morning, Nicholas texted asking if we could talk in person. I texted back and we agreed to meet at the downtown coffee shop. His eyes carried the exhaustion of someone caught in a storm. "Your mom's been impossible," he sighed. "Kayla's calling every venue within 50 miles, but everything's booked." "What about the catering?" I asked. He shook his head. "Refunds gone. Non-transferable." For the first time, I saw the corner of his mouth twitch toward a smile. "I told her if she doesn't apologize to you, I'm not paying a dime." I sipped my coffee. "And what did she say?" He looked down. "She said I'm being manipulated by you." I smiled back. "Maybe you're just paying attention." By Sunday, an eerie silence settled from their end, no calls, no updates. I thought it was finished until Nicholas texted, "They found a new venue. Wednesday evening. Cheap banquet hall outside town." I could picture it already, fluorescent lights, folding chairs, buffet trays under tin foil. On the wedding day, it poured a cold, relentless rain that turned the parking lot into a lake. I wasn't there but didn't need to be. My cousin Emma, who had always stayed neutral in family conflicts, texted photos with the message, "What happened? It looks sad." Kayla didn't tag me in anything, but Rachel slipped up, posted a blurry shot of beige walls, plastic flowers, and cheap decorations. Caption, "Round 2, no drama." The irony almost made me laugh. That night, Nicholas called again. "You won't believe this," he said. During the bouquet toss, one of Kayla's old friends caught it and shouted that the groom had been texting her. The whole place went silent. I covered my mouth to hide my smile. "Your mom blamed me," he continued. "Said I invited the wrong people." I told her she pushed away the only person who ever kept this family together. He exhaled heavily. I think she finally understood. Not the words, but the silence after. When the call ended, I sat listening to my apartment's quiet sounds, the refrigerator humming, my children breathing down the hall. I'd expected to feel triumphant, but instead felt calm, as if something heavy had finally slid from my chest. The next morning, Kayla texted, "You must feel proud of yourself. Everyone's talking about how cold you are." I stared at the message, thumb hovering. For a moment, I considered explaining, defending myself. But what was the point? She didn't want truth. She wanted reaction. I set the phone face down and let it buzz until it stopped. A few days later, Nicholas texted 2 words, "I'm leaving." I called immediately. "I told your mom I'm done," he explained. "I can't live in a house where decency is treated like betrayal." His voice softened. "I added your name to my insurance, by the way. You're the only one who ever treated me like family." My throat tightened, but no tears came. "Thank you," I whispered. That night, I stepped onto my balcony. The rain had stopped. The air smelled clean, like everything had been washed new. I thought about the text that started it all, my mother's cold words, the laughing emojis, the mockery. They thought I was being petty when I pulled away, but they never understood it wasn't revenge. It was release. For years I'd been paying for their peace. Now, for the first time, it was mine. Nicholas moved out a week later, no fight, no shouting, just a quiet departure that said everything words couldn't. He filed for divorce the same day, telling me later that he couldn't stay married to someone who treated family like disposable resources. He left a note on my doorstep in his careful handwriting, "You were right to walk away first." When we met for coffee days later, he looked lighter somehow. "The house is unbearable," he said. "Your mom's pretending everything's fine, but Rachel's unemployed and Kayla's drowning in wedding debt." He stirred his cup slowly. "You know what's funny? They still haven't apologized. Not once." I smiled with understanding rather than satisfaction. "They can't. Apologies mean admitting the well is dry." He laughed softly, then handed me an envelope containing a check. "Part of that loan I took for them," he explained. "They'll never pay it back, but you deserve this." I slid it back to him. "Keep it, Nicholas. You paid enough already." Later that night, my mother texted, "You've made your point, but this is still your family." I read it once, then replied, "I didn't cut anyone off. I just stopped funding my own mistreatment." She never responded. Inside my apartment, my children laughed while building a pillow fort. Looking at them, I realized peace wasn't loud or flashy. It was quiet, steady, and finally mine. For the first time in years, I didn't feel responsible for everyone else's happiness, just my own. I used to think love meant staying no matter how much it hurt, that loyalty was measured by how much weight you could carry. But now I know love without respect is just control disguised as care. Walking away wasn't revenge. It was survival. If there's one thing this whole mess taught me, it's that peace doesn't come from fixing what's broken. Sometimes it comes from finally letting it fall.